Hey there, welcome to Cole's Cozy Corner, a little space where I take a look at some cozy little games that I feel are perfect for a lazy weekend morning with sunshine coming through your window and that pair perfectly with your choice of tea. Harold Halibut is a gorgeous handmade stop-motion point-and-click adventure game set in a terrifying future where we can only assume a league of neckbeards discovered space travel, as the ship they launched in an effort to escape a dying Earth is named the Fedora 1.
M'lady.
Unsurprisingly, the vessel eventually crashes into a planet with an alleged toxic atmosphere, trapping generations of humans within the rotting remains of the vessel. Although, to give credit where credit is due, the ship lasted about 250 years in space. After the crash, the ship and the population is essentially ruled by the corporation known as Allwater, who has a logo that looks like the Philips logo for some reason. I just thought that was interesting. I don't know if that means anything. They made the CDI, who knows what evil they're capable of. Anyway, to help set the scene for when the gameplay we experience actually takes place, imagine being in BioShock's underwater city Rapture, when it was still populated. Now imagine, instead of being one of the rich high-end citizens, as your mind may lead you, remember it had lower classes of people to still do the work. I would also bring not Rapture, but Rupture into the conversation here, as in Rupture Farms from Abe's Odyssey. The societal divide is evident in both of these examples, and I think of the Abe's Odyssey link because of the general aesthetic, honestly. Also, I feel Allwater views everyone outside of the corporate structure of the company itself as an expendable product, much like they did in Abe's. Maybe a little less literally in this case, though. In Harold Halibut, you play as Harold. Shocker, I know. You are an all-around handyman who works as an assistant to a scientist on the ship, and you sleep in the basement of her lab for some reason. I guess rent in this dystopia is out of control, just like, some other dystopias I know. Anyone related to the authority of the ship seems to have a distaste for you. We also get insights into the failings of the system we live in fairly early on. We get brought in on a fine that we failed to pay. It seems the currency we need to load onto our travel card changes at almost random, and is not properly communicated, or possibly Harold just hasn't been listening, as he is said and shown to be a daydreamer, getting a little lost in his own fantasies. We meet a child who gets bailed out by their mother, and it seems their family has a bit of power. I would normally say this is to show a point of corruption, but the professor we work for comes and covers our fine pretty much the same way, so I don't think we have any room to talk, as we control Harold after all. After we get this situation sorted, we can hear others complaining about the transport system and the lack of transparency from officials. We head back to the lab and get a few chores to take care of, that can be completed by talking to some of the other people on this floor, and also by solving a puzzle. Somehow I really didn't get this one, and I don't know if that's intentional to show you that there's a whole foreign design system in place here, or if there's something that I was missing. You can get the solution by just clicking on what you see, and shortly you'll get it right, so I'm open to either answer here. The Allwater Corporation has a big announcement, and you tuck yourself into bed afterwards. The next day you get up and kind of do it all again. You get a new list of tasks and help people with their problems in pursuit of somehow getting what you are looking for. In the second day's case, it's a rock we're looking for. That seems to be the general gameplay loop that we are going to be dealing with, and without going over everything, that is what you'll experience in this demo. With all this nightmare fuel, you know what the weirdest thing is? The game has a bit of a cozy vibe to it. For a game that reminds me of things like BioShock and Abe's Odyssey, that feels weird to say, but from the demo at least, I think it fits. Harold has a problem with authority. Or, better phrased, authority has a problem with Harold. People often play Harold as a fool and treat him poorly. At the same time though, he has people that he shares a mutually caring relationship with. There's members of the community that he does have a neighborly relationship with. We have chances to play video games and watch TV, even if it is mostly ads and a single soap opera in a foreign language. But most importantly, Harold seems happy with himself. In the moments when he's alone, he loves talking to himself and making up little scenarios, and even loves his job despite being treated like an errand boy and sometimes being mistreated by some of his, I suppose, co-workers, people he has to interact with due to his job at the very least. There's something insane about that to me, because he lives in a situation that is pretty easy to label as bad from an outside perspective, but he seems to take it in stride, and oddly, that has a comfort to the player as well. The game seems to be going in the direction of having Harold become a bigger part of the destiny of all the people on the Fedora by getting involved with the Lightkeepers, which is an organization kind of rebelling against the status quo. Harold will probably stand up for himself more, and that's the type of growth I want to see, and the type of character I want to ride along with in the full release. But I think what they've established in terms of community and showing a guy making the best of a bad situation, it's oddly nice in such a dark setting. Just following this guy around does make it seem like it's kind of a relaxing environment despite everything we're seeing. It's a very odd mixture that I was not expecting here. I'm leaving most of the story out so that you can play it for yourself. I think experiencing this game yourself will get you hooked more than anything I could say. Also, I just couldn't spoil this after learning about how much work has gone into it, and I mean, you can tell just based on the style, but I absolutely adore passion projects like these that push and blend art forms. The game has been in development for over a decade and is doing something super unique and stunning in the same way that something like Cuphead did. It is an absolute treat to be able to play any part of this, because just thinking of how labor intensive this must have been to create blows my mind. So please go and check it out. The game is planned for a Steam, PlayStation, and Xbox Game Pass release. I'll put a link to their website and Steam page, so please wishlist this and send the developer Slow Bros all the love they deserve. I can't wait to see the full game and get my hands on it when that day comes.
Is that why you're hanging out here?
Mostly. It's just kinda cozy here though, you know?
I suppose it is.